Hey Gators, welcome back to Sittin with Simmons. I'm your head coach, Bob Simmons, and joining us today is our director of peak performance slash strength and conditioning coach, Coach Chris. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, glad to be on today. I'm very excited.
Great. But before we get started, let me introduce today's sponsor. Gators, today's sponsor of Sittin with Simmons is Huggies. Why Huggies? Well, Coach Chris is a first-time dad, okay? And as all of our student athletes know, when you guys hit your numbers in the weight room, he wants to give you a big old hug. So today's sponsor. So Coach Chris, uh, you're a graduate of SUNY Cortland. You've worked in the profession. You're new here to Allegheny College. Why did you come to Allegheny College?
I came to Allegheny College because I still wanted to work with a higher education field. I spent 3.5 years at Hamilton College. I spent my internship at Cornell University, and I always kind of like that type of athlete because of the fact that they're constantly asking questions. But as I've gone through my profession, I'm enjoying the questions more because it's showing me they want to learn, and working with those kids, they're getting more buy-in, and that's always great for me. So that's kind of where Allegheny has kind of helped me continue that path and working in the higher education system.
Awesome. And we're so fortunate to have you. You've heard me say it before. You're part of our family, our men's basketball family. You're part of our staff. Love the gear you're wearing, by the way. Looks good on you. Looks great. So keep rocking that. But wanted to talk to you. So obviously we're in some challenging times, this global pandemic, and for a strength coach, this has to be really challenging. What have you been doing with the student athletes? And let's talk, men's basketball specific. What have you been doing with our men's basketball players during this global pandemic as a strength coach?
During the pandemic, when they're on campus, it's trying to get them up to speed as much as I can, of making sure that I can get them as strong and as healthy as I can for when they go back out, so that if they do lose anything, they are going to pretty much come down a little bit. But as compared to some kid that hasn't been able to do anything and then drop down further, we just want to make sure that we are setting them up for success for when they get back on campus with the potential of games coming up. And that's going to be our biggest thing, of making sure that we can protect the soft tissue injuries. Now, when they're away, it's getting them as much resources as I can. We've done a whole revamp on body weight workouts. That's the biggest thing that I have seen throughout last March all the way up until now. It's still, we don't know which gym is opening, which gym is going to close because of an owner's contacted COVID, and they had to shut the whole gym down for 2.5 weeks and clean everything. Or they're in a state right now that is still shut down just because of the restrictions that the state has held. And it's kind of working through all of those intangibles and making sure that we can best outfit the student athletes for when they do come back. They can be conditioned enough, and hopefully we've worked on enough body weight strength to get them going so that when they do come back on campus, we can hit the ground running pretty well. So
Great. No, and I know you've done a great job, and we appreciate what you're doing for our men and for all our student athletes. Gators, we're very fortunate to have Coach Chris and Coach Josh working with all of us, and we really appreciate that. I don't know if we say thank you enough, but thank you for what you guys do. So, Coach, me, I'm pretty organized, very detail oriented. You're probably tired of meeting with me, right? We meet quite a bit with our guys. So when we're in the weight room, right, guys are in the weight room and they're throwing that weight around, you got to have a favorite, right? We love them all, but you got to have a favorite. So out of our guys, who's the one guy you just love seeing in the weight room because he's getting after it the most? Who's that one guy?
there's a few. I mean, when it comes down to it, really, the number one favorite student athlete is going to be the one that does the things that I ask him to do. Number one, I'm big with Nijan. He gives me a lot of give and goes of, yes, I can do that. No, I can't. But at the same time, he does come in. He lightens the attitude up. As far as workers, you got Josh Retizik that does a great job and pushes the weight. Brock Brumfield that does a good job as well and being able to push some weight. Peter Snipes, I will say, being able to see him from where he was last year to where he is now and putting the dedication in And then you even have Holden Phillips, right? Had a small hand injury or hand injury in the beginning of the year, but now he has been able to dedicate himself the whole entire time and progress. So those are the things that I truly will see, and those are like the number ones. And then same thing, Lamar Todd last year had his Achilles injury, but he dedicated himself to the weight room, and it has continued, and it has showed every single time he comes in there. And they're just so dedicated to work. Anthony Cook, another one that comes to mind. So there's a whole bunch there, and there's more that I haven't mentioned, but that's the easy part is when they come in and they're ready to do the work. That's the easiest job ever, and that's the best thing. I've always heard is the best athlete is the one that does what I ask. That's my favorite athlete. And outside of that, if you're not doing what I'm asking, your results are going to show. And it's kind of hard for me to get behind you and say, well, we can keep pushing you, but if you're not going to do the things I'm telling you or things that I'm going to try and advise you on, then you're just not going to get the results. And it's kind of hard for me to keep rooting for you as things go further. But I'm not seeing that with a majority of athletes. So
That's a great answer. Thank you for that. I love that you named a bunch of the guys. I'm sure there's more you could mention in there. I think our guys work pretty hard. I know they love being in there with you. You have a great vibe going in there. You got the music playing. Some of the music I don't know. I do like sometimes when you're playing some of the genre from my generation. That helps me out. So I appreciate you giving me a little love. But let's change it up a little bit. We're pretty serious here so far. So, Coach, you're rocking a beard. I know we have Coach Lindsay in the department that rocks a beard. Every now and then, Coach Nagy's rocking a beard. Every now and again, Coach Bean will sport a beard. All right. So out of those four, out of the four of you, rate the beards. Who's one? Who's four?
Ooh, I haven't seen Bean with a beard, so I'm gonna have to put him at 4 right now. Lindsay, he's got a good one. He keeps it well groomed. I'm gonna put him at 1. I'll probably put myself at 2 because of the fact that I'm able to groom it, but I don't go too serious with it. And then Coach Nagy, I think for him sometimes he might have missed a couple shaving days, and then he just keeps it with that. But
hey, it's great. The one day he took off his gator, and it was all white, and it was right around the holidays. I'm like, Santa. So I don't think he appreciated it that much. So obviously I don't rock a beard. It's real simple. It itches the heck out of me, and I don't think I look good with it. So clean shaven is the way I go. Coach, you've attended a bunch of our games over the time you've been here. Tell us about one of your favorite moments from last year, our season. Do you have a favorite moment, one that stands out to you the most?
I'd say Jordan Rawls getting the all-time scoring record. I definitely would say that would be number 1. I think that's probably the best, and then being able to get into playoffs. So those are definitely the two moments that I can kind of picture right now. So
awesome. No, it's awesome. Yeah, they were great moments. They're a lot of people's favorites, mine included. So really, really appreciate that. Coach, what is one thing before we wrap up here? What is one thing that you would want to say to any student athlete looking at Allegheny College, about Allegheny College, why they should come here?
The biggest thing is you're going to get this true student effect. You're going to be able to have coaches that are going to understand class schedules. And at the same time, the reason why I love D3 at the end of the day is that we're not here on scholarship, and the kids that are going to come truly want to be able to play their sport at this school of a higher education. And Allegheny has such a good reputation academically that you're also going to get coaches that are going to buy into that as well. And then you're also going to get coaches that are truly going to help you later on in your life. That's what they're there for, is to not just coach you for the 4 years that you're on campus, but to make sure that you're getting set up to go into that next profession, whether it's connecting with an athletic director at a high school level to hopefully land you a teaching job, or to get that connection down in Pittsburgh for medical school, or being able to kind of set you up even further in life so that we can use the connections here on Allegheny so that you can truly be able to use that Gator Strong connection throughout the rest of your life.
Great. It's great. Coach, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for everything you do for our student athletes, especially our men's basketball family. Gators, as always, stay safe, stay healthy, stay masked up, and refuse to lose.